record podcasts?
I
I
don't.
don't. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Reach Out to the Podcast with your usual hosts. The legendary shipbuilder Jeff is no longer here with us. He died in a horrible war accident, but that's okay. We'll continue on without him.
Rest in peace, Jeff.
Moment of silence, of course. Alright, that's plenty of moment of silence. Moving on. So, Cam, how are you doing?
A millisecond of silence is good enough for Jeff. I'm sure he's glad to know.
Hey, he doesn't watch this, so whatever.
True. I'm pretty good.
Pretty good?
Summer break just about finished, so yeah.
You're gonna have to go back to
Going
college
back-
soon?
Yeah, gonna run an internship like half a week and then half a week of school.
Lucky you. I'm stuck in the fucking house for like an entire year, basically, until next year.
Wait, seriously?
Yep, can't start up a semester till January of next year.
Jesus
Because I apparently signed up
Christ.
too late, and there was this whole mess with, like, apparently they didn't receive my grades for, like, the credits I did for adult rollship, and it's, like, it's dumb. So dumb.
Was-
So I've been trapped in my house for my time, in the meantime that we haven't recorded. So it's been a bit of a...
I can tell. Well, yeah, I've basically been cooped up in the house for. Well, I mean, I've been working, but like I get very infrequent shifts, so
That's fair.
I've mostly been cooped up in the house for summer break, which is it's not great.
Yeah, no, it slowly gets to you. At first, summer
Yeah,
break's
it's
amazing, but then slowly and surely it gets to you if you don't do anything.
It gets. You know what I've like noticed? Like when summer break starts, you're always. At least I'm always like, yeah, I'm gonna do all this stuff. But I think
You
the
never
more
do
free
it.
time you have, the more wasteful you are with it.
Yeah, because it's like, I've got all the time in the world, I'll get to that eventually. And then you just keep wasting and wasting and wasting, and it's like, oh, look, now nothing's accomplished, and then the cycle just repeats. Over and over and over, and you never learn.
Even though you're plenty aware of what happened the last like
You
5
know
years. at
what
least.
you're doing, and you need to stop it.
But you just keep going.
You keep going regardless.
Uh,
And I mean, I'm trapped up in the house today, regardless of like what I want to do, because as of the moment of recording, there's currently a hurricane going on outside. So,
oh, lovely.
so you know, that's fun. I'm
That's
just glad to not live in Florida. That's all I can say. I mean,
great.
even if there wasn't a hurricane, I'd rather not live in Florida.
As someone who doesn't live in America in general, I can only somewhat agree, I guess.
I don't
I could
like
just.
the sound of this Florida.
I don't know, man. Considering just the presidential elections alone, don't like the sound of America in general right now. But
Oh no, let's not get on that topic, please.
no, I'm just saying,
I gotcha. Well, I mean, like, what have you done? What have you finished? Like, let's get on the big topics here of games, shows, and such as always.
More shows than games probably. So we'll start with shows, I guess.
It's funny because I'm quite the opposite with that.
Great.
But yes, continue.
I finished Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans after putting that off for 6 months.
Goody.
Yeah, no, it's not. Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans is a very bad show. I hate it.
Now, how long is it exactly? It's like 24 episodes.
It's 25 episodes. It's getting a second season next month.
Oh, get hyped, people.
Ooh, no, I'm not.
Get hyped for
I'm
the
not hyped,
Chinese cartoons.
To keep it short, because I don't want to fucking be here for like 30 minutes while Ian doesn't talk. Yeah, no, I hated it. The central conflict is incredibly uninteresting. The characters just suck. It's funny, the characters are like, for like 20 episodes of the show, they're just, like, they're not much characters, they're just kind of there. But then, like, for some reason, the last 5 episodes, they take this huge dip and just become the most unlikable fucking people this side of Seed.
Is it to the point of where, like, they're not even the same character, or...?
Well, you see, that's hard to say because they were barely characters to begin with. The cast of IVO is about as flat as you can get.
Okay, then. I could see that.
And, like, there is one kind of interesting political, like, thing going on. It gets solved within one fucking speech, and it's just like, well, those episodes were wasted,
What
weren't
was
they?
the point of that, then?
Yeah.
Alright.
No. No, it's just it looked promising at the start, but it's a bad show.
It's a bad
Just a
show. Would not
it's just a
recommend.
I wouldn't actually just watch the original or something.
You
I
know,
know the animation's
don't worry.
dated, but
If you want to watch Gundam, there's plenty to offer.
yeah.
To the point of like nearly 40 years now, or above that.
In 2014, it celebrated its 35th birthday.
35th. Goddamn.
Yep.
Longer than
So
I
it's like
thought.
37 years old. It's like 37 years old now.
Well, there you go. You got 37 years worth of material. Not everything's great, apparently, but there is some good
No,
stuff.
there is some really good stuff, but some really bad stuff.
So yeah, it's very easy to tell what you should watch if you're ever curious.
Speaking of which, Gundam Thunderbolt, another thing I finished. It's like a movie, and it's done things the franchise hasn't done. I'd argue since like Zeta,
Oh,
all the
you
way
mean,
back
like the
in the
second
80s.
show.
Yeah, like I mean, other Gundam things have done certain similar things to Zeta, but Thunderbolt does it on Zeta's level. In fact, some could argue even better than it. I still prefer Zeta, but yeah, you should watch Thunderbolt. It's like currently my third favorite entry in the series.
Oh wow,
just,
goddamn.
it's just a movie, but it's fucking great. Like I can't say much on it. Just you need to watch it.
Well, I mean,
It's
if I'm getting
really
a
good.
recommendation like that, then I guess I should. Because yeah, no, like I know you told me before that was pretty good, but I didn't think you liked it that much.
No, it's fucking great.
But
Like,
hey, I mean, that's
you know,
Gundam for you, I suppose.
yeah, it's got some really lows, but some real highs. So hey,
Yeah, I know that feeling all too well. Well, anything outside of Gundam?
uh, there were two shows last last anime season
Anime
that I
China.
Chinese cartoons. But I finished. You finished both of these as well, so you can talk about them finally.
Oh boy.
First one. This one's like not too much to talk about, but the first season of Hero Academia.
Oh yeah, I like eventually caught up to it. I didn't catch it first when it was like currently airing, but I did watch it with a good friend, and it was good fun. Like I was actually pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it. Just like okay, it's general basic shonen stuff, but the characters are so much fun.
Yeah.
Like oh my god, I could talk about All Might all fucking day.
Oh my god, All Might is my fucking, especially after the recent chapters, because like I've been someone who's followed the manga since like its debut, which is around 2 years now.
Shorter than I thought. I was thinking it was like
Yeah.
way back, but no, apparently not.
No, it's like a little over 100 chapters. Yeah, so like just seeing it not only get a really high quality anime adaptation, but to see it do so well is really like that makes me happy.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the guy mentioned that he's been waiting for like the kind of popularity it has right now for like years.
Yeah,
And hey, they're finally
he's-
at that point. Here's hoping they can pull through all the way to its conclusion.
unlike a certain series starring an orange-haired youth, blah, that finished recently.
Oh, oh bleach, fucking hell.
Yeah, laundry detergent, my favorite.
I'm having a cup right now as we speak. Slurp. No, I'm not even gonna get on that topic. No,
No,
I refuse to talk about Bleach. Like, I hear a lot of crap about the guy like having a really tough time with that series, but it's like no.
Okay, like I understand that, but it's just bad.
It's just
just
bad.
bad.
It's just simple as that. It's bad. Sorry.
I've read way more of the manga than I needed to. I can tell you, it's bad.
Oh, I haven't even bothered with that, man. I only attempted to watch the anime as a kid.
Oh, I couldn't even.
I mean, fair enough. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is you should totally watch Academia. It's basically just X-Men.
Yeah.
It's an X-Men I can
And then-
actually get behind, though, because X-Men's gone so long to the point where I don't understand anything that's going on.
I haven't even started there, so hey. Yeah, and then you can wait for season 2, or just read the manga, you fucking plebs. Anyway.
That too. Kind of like
the
the
other
JoJo scenario.
Yeah, so read the manga, fucking anyway, the other show is Kiss Niver. I think you finished that as well?
Yeah, I finished that.
I like that quite a lot.
I liked it too. I don't think I liked it nearly as much as you did, but it was good fun. I'd say it's more of
Yeah.
one of those shows that you get behind for like character interactions itself more than the general story. Because the
Yeah,
general
definitely.
story gets kind of dumb, arguably, at points.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of neat ideas with the setup they have
Mm,
where like they're all kind of connected through like they share
yeah.
pain, emotions, and such, and it keeps evolving over time. But the kind of situations that the evil giant corporation gets them into is
Espe-
like, excuse me.
Especially the last episode, like, it was a really good climax for the characters, but on the story level, it's like what happens in that on the story level is a bit what.
I'm going to destroy you all and make us bold together through this one being. That's stupid. No, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. Okay, and that's how it ends.
Did we mention it's a trigger show? I think that might explain a couple of things there.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, like, out of the trigger shows I've watched, I've only watched fully Inferno Cop and a bit of Kill la Kill. And by that alone, I feel like, yeah, it's definitely trigger.
Yeah, I weird opinion, I guess, but Kiznaiver is my favorite trigger thing so far. Also just because like it's by far the best looking thing they've put out, I'd argue.
No question. No question.
It the difference in like animation quality between like that and most of Kill la Kill is staggering.
Yeah, I think most is a good way of putting it. There are some points where it looks alright.
Yeah, no, Kill la Kill can look really good when it wants to.
And then there are, like,
It's just that
the joke shows like fucking Inferno Cop. Which,
that's not even animation.
I mean, to be fair, is the greatest on the most grand pedestal of animation of all time, but
fuck you and your ironic shit. Oh god.
but oh, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Inferno Cops recommended. Anyway, you watched anything from last season, or because like that's I have a bunch of shows I still want to watch from last season, but I haven't gotten around to them.
Well, I mean, in terms of stuff I've watched, like, okay, this is also a pet peeve I've been having as of late, where I've been meaning to catch up with a lot of Netflix series, but due to my laziness and like me getting called out for random work at points where I'm actually in the mood to watch the shows I want to see,
Nice.
so stuff like Stranger Things, Daredevil, and such, and Preacher, I've been meaning to watch, but I haven't caught up with. So here I am, stuck with Chinese cartoons. Boy,
Yay.
I love me some Chinese cartoons. But
Selectively.
selectively, yes. But honestly, though, with like anime, this is probably the most I've watched in a season ever. Like,
Yeah, last season was
currently
like
airing, anyways.
these two seasons have been surprisingly good. Like I've actually got a list of stuff from like summer and spring alone that I've wanted to watch.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point where it's like I've become good friends with a couple of like random people on Facebook in particular, and are like, "Hey, you want to watch anime?" And I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Okay." I'm like, "I'm joking," and I end up watching a good amount of the season. So, like for example, a show like ReZero, I watched,
Oh
and that
boy.
was like probably one of the biggest surprises I've had in a while,
You're right.
especially with how it starts up at first.
Yeah.
Because, like, I would say it's kind of like, the typical generic, oh, I'm in a video game world, yeah!
I'm stuck in a video game.
But
Whoa.
that's kind of the point. It slowly
Yeah.
gets you because of that. It's like, then it kind of unfolds into this sort of, like, dissection in a way,
Yeah.
where the main character, yes, he is a piece of shit. Yes, he is just a regular guy in a video game world. And that's it. He's just a
That's
regular
it.
guy and nothing more. He's nothing overpowered and such. He's a loser.
In in video games, you're just gonna be as big of a loser as you are in real life, you fucking nerd.
And it's an interesting look for once,
Yeah.
because most of the time with these stupid video game shows, they would be like, "Oh, I'm in the video game world now. Now I'm level 100. I got Excalibur 2. Oh, here we go." And of course, then they become the most badass character, shoot fucking 20 million lasers out of their ass. But here, Subaru, no, he's just a piece of shit.
He's
He
yeah.
just sucks.
He sucks.
And of course, that slowly gets to him to the point where the only real ability he has is the fact that he can go back in time every time he dies, which
Which sounds
is also mentally scarring,
a bit.
just a bit,
Experiencing death over and over again.
just a bit.
Also, man, you said Sue was a piece of shit. The fan base sure would agree with you after episode 18.
She deserves better. It's okay, Rem.
Are you part of the Church of Rem, Ian?
Oh my fucking god, the Church of Rem, dude. As soon as that episode ended, a person added me onto a Facebook group called the Church of Rem, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you people serious? Oh, it's like, and that is also one of the main reasons I wanted to watch the show, because I'm like, who the fuck is this girl? I keep seeing her every day on my timeline.
I see, like, this blue-haired maid girl on my timeline, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck is up here? Oh, that is up.
Oh, I get it.
I actually get it now.
Holy shit.
By the way, Ian, you've heard the story about the official body pillow, right?
Yes, the one where they actually ran out of stock because there was, like, an immense pre-order.
Unprecedented demand. Their actual words were, we had to delay the REM body pillow because there was unprecedented demand.
Jesus Christ. Like, fucking hell. Of course. How could it not be otherwise? Despite the body pillow shit, I'd say that the show I could recommend at the moment. It's not finished.
Yeah.
I've only watched up to episode 18. But from what I watched, it was good shit.
It was good.
Give it a bit. Like, at first it might not click. But give it a bit to do its thing. Because it is going somewhere, trust me.
Wouldn't even necessarily call it, like, the greatest show. Like, it's a good, like, 7.5 out of 10 kind of deal, but, like, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, it's
just
interesting.
The fucking hype is.
It's just genuinely interesting as opposed to, like, a couple of the shows going on at the moment.
Yeah.
I'd say it's the most out there kind of one.
Yeah.
But in terms of other stuff...
At least most out there in its, like, specific type.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. In terms of other stuff, I watched a bit of Mob Psycho. That's good stuff.
Ooh, heard of that.
Especially as a person who has yet to fully watch One Punch Man. I've actually watched more of Mob than I have One Punch Man.
Huh, interesting. Not a lot of people say that.
Yeah, I know, right? Because at this point, people have watched One Punch Man like 5 times.
Yep.
But here I've only watched it once. Like, I watched the first episode. But no, it's genuinely good stuff.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good, and I think my favorite part of that is that the director of One Punch Man was like someone who usually works at Studio Bones, the guys who do Mob Psycho now. Mm-hmm. And they specifically went out of their way to do Mob Psycho because it's like, nah, we want to like one up him.
Jesus.
And man, I mean, it's just like talking about the gifs I've seen of Mob Psycho. They're going for it.
Oh, dude, it perfectly captures the style of the show. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard. I think that's the fucking funniest thing to me is like, one is someone who can like barely draw, and yet the adaptations of this work are like the most high quality thing of their season.
Honestly, though, I think that works in their favor because it's so low quality at first. They can just do whatever with it.
Yeah.
They can just go all out. Simple as that. And that's what they've been doing with Mob Psycho. Some of the scenes where Mob just goes fucking berserk, it like. Just, the animation quality switches from, this is good, to fuck.
Based bones.
Based bones, though. Like, seriously.
They do good work. They usually know to hire the right people for specific shows.
Ain't that the truth? In terms of other interesting stuff, anyways, like, of course there's other stuff I've been watching that's currently airing. There's Orange, which has been okay. It's pretty standard stuff, I'd say.
Okay.
There's been fucking... I haven't even bothered catching up with the new JoJo. I am, like, way behind on that.
I am... At this point, I only really seem to enjoy the anime when I'm watching it with other people.
That sounds about right.
Because like right now, I'm still at like episode 3 of like part 4, and I have no desire to catch up.
Episode 3?
Yeah, I'm still at like the part where they meet Okuyasu.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Yeah,
I didn't think you were that far back.
yep.
I
Never
mean,
had to drive to catch up.
You have the credit of, like, reading the manga, so you know what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the
Hell,
I'm the filthy scrub here.
I could just like start with whatever's airing right now, and I'd be fine, which is funny to me.
Yeah. And then there's the Ace Attorney anime.
I haven't watched that since like
I haven't watched it since a good solid few months, I want to say.
Yeah, I think the last one I saw was like the start of Case 4 of the first game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly where I am.
Oh boy.
They showed off Von Karma, he looked awful, and then I stopped.
I don't... I enjoyed watching it with a friend, but
It's not the best.
I hesitate to call it like a great adaptation by any means.
I would not call it great. I think, like, it's just fine, and that's it.
There are definitely a couple of moments like as a fan of the game you get a kick out of, but yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would not recommend it. That's basically it.
Well, if we're talking about currently airing things, there are 2 things I've been watching.
Oh, those big.
Very behind on summer season stuff, but main show I've been watching is Dingle Dangle Rumple 3.
Oh, right, Tinkle Tankle Rompa 3. Well, I mean, I'll get into that, like, later on.
Okay. Surprisingly turning out better, because, like, Danganronpa had an adaptation of the first game, and it was fucking awful. Pretty much everything likable about that game was just gone in the adaptation.
What are you talking about? Converting a visual novel into a 12-episode series is not a bad idea. Don't give me those
visual
looks.
novel the visual novel that takes like 30 hours to beat or something. For 20 to 30 around that. Yeah, 12-episode anime, good. But 3 is like pretty much an anime original thing to close out the story, because they couldn't really close out the story in game format necessarily, like what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they're airing actually 2 arcs simultaneously, a prequel arc and like an end arc, and both get like 1 episode each week, and they actually managed to tie them together pretty well. It's turning out a lot better than I think anyone expected. Well, some people probably don't like it, but for me anyway, it's been surprisingly nice to see the story close the way it's doing.
So wait, okay, so is this anime like specifically closing the first 2 games, and the third game's gonna be completely different?
Yeah, the third game's gonna take place in like a different kind of continuity.
Oh god, okay then.
This is just like we want the close of this particular story, so we don't drag it out, and then we can take the ideas and put them in different scenarios and stuff. Which I can respect that, I guess. Like, at least you're not dragging shit out.
Fair enough then. Because I was always wondering why in the world they did like an anime first before the actual game, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's mainly just because like this wasn't. It was basically just because like we would have to compromise if we had to fit the story into a game, so we just decided to do something else that fits. We decided to like choose a medium that fits the story better, which I can respect.
All right.
And the other thing, I think you've at least seen the first episode of this. I'm pretty behind on it, but I have watched a couple of episodes of Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Oh, Thunderbolt, yes. My favorite stupid action doll show.
Thanks, Urobuchi.
By my favorite writer.
Get Urobuchi.
Depression. Okay, I haven't, like, I'm pretty sure a couple of episodes have been released since the last time I watched it, but, like, they're on their way to fucking Seven Sins Tower, as the evil location is called. It's about as overtopped as it sounds, don't worry. But yeah, I remember you, like, randomly telling me about it, like, dude, you gotta check this shit out. I'm like, okay. I watched the first episode, I'm like, dude.
It's It's a stupid, crazy, over-the-top puppet show that has, like, incredible fighting scenes for no fucking reason. Like, the shit they did with puppets is incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. As a person who really gets behind shit like stop motion, especially, I'm always all over that.
Oh, man. At first it was like, oh, but she's doing a puppet show. That's weird. But now it's like, oh, he's doing a puppet show.
Oh shit, the
And
motherfucker's doing a puppet show.
Oh shit, boy. He's doing fucking a Godzilla 3D animated movie as well.
Yeah, I heard he's gonna be a part of that for a bit.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned in an article that he'd leave like a bit into development. I'm not sure on that though. Yeah, I'm totally over that.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, quick recommendation. If anyone here has seen Thunderbolt Fantasy and liked it, if you like Orobuchi doing dumb, stupid shit, that's actually really cool. I'd probably recommend this Kamen Rider show, Gaim. It's almost as over the top as Thunderbolt, and it has like surprisingly funny comedy for someone like Orobuchi.
Well, there you go then.
That's just quick recommendation. Gaim's pretty much his best work. Just saying. But yeah.
If you're into the Sentai shit and such.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've watched.
That's all I have to say on them Chinese cartoons.
Who watches Western things, am I right? I've been
meaning to.
I have actually been meaning to watch Stranger Things. Just I don't have Netflix, so oops.
Oh, fair enough. I'm sure you can find someone to leech off of.
Probably can. Probably if I just asked, I'd get someone right away.
Like, hey, buddy, old chap friend. It's a nice Netflix you got there.
Mind if I watch some Stranger Things, some Daredevil, some Veltron or something? I don't know.
Oh yeah, Voltron. I heard that was good too.
I heard it was good, which is great.
I see a lot of like crossover art with Bebop, so I'm like, oh, okay.
It's all you need.
You caught my interest.
I mean, Last Airbender Maker's doing some mech things. I'm down. Hope it turns out better than Korra, which is to say, I hope it's better than a wet fart.
Literally, because it's in book 1, like the water part.
I didn't even think of that, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, Christ.
But
Christ.
Yeah. In terms of like that's all covered. In terms of movies, there's only one I can think off the top of my head that I feel like you absolutely must see at one point. Maybe not in theaters, but when it comes out on DVD, absolutely. Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yeah.
Is a new stop motion film by the guys who did Coraline and Paranorman, and it's fucking amazing. Like, I was shocked at how much I loved it. Like, I knew I was gonna love it because I loved their works previously, but this actually just blew them out of the fucking water. Like, when it got to the point where they actually managed to animate a 16-foot tall skeleton in stop motion, I'm like, okay, this is good. And it has a really respectable ending, which I also wasn't expecting. Nice. I won't go into detail since that's spoilerific, but please do give it a watch.
Probably when it comes out on, like, DVD or something, I will, because I have heard just nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Can guarantee it. But now into the world of video.
You've had little to say on movies, huh? Because I know I sure do.
It's the only movie I have felt like that's worth mentioning, honestly. It's fucking I can't talk about Ghostbusters or Suicide Squad.
Or Sausage Party.
Or Food Orgy, yeah, cool.
Dude, have you seen the ending to that?
Yeah, I heard about the ending where they meet up with, like... Spoilers for Sausage Party on that note. Where they meet up with, like, the actors for their own characters. Like, hey, Sausage, you're voiced by Seth Rogen.
Yeah, no, like, the fucking cheese thing, it's just like, oh yeah, it's all a movie by Seth Rogen. This is comedy, I guess.
This is funny. Haha. Weed. Haha.
Fucking fuck.
No, thank you. I won't be spending my money. Oh, God, then I heard the animators got treated like shit. So
yeah, so it's like no, don't think I want to support that.
Yeah, I'm good. Really.
All right, now into the world of vidya.
Into the world of vidya. Oh boy, my favorite kind of world. It's also the world that kicks me in the dick. I'm sorry. Let's just get into this slowly.
Okay.
You go first.
I go first.
You go first.
Well, there's one game I play that I won't talk about until the end of the podcast because we've got a question about that.
Oh, okay.
So
It's a bit of a
yeah.
surprise. Ooh.
Other than that, I've played way less games than I intended to because, of course, I'm about halfway through Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon.
Hey, I recommended that in a previous episode, and I still think it holds up. You should go play
Yeah,
it.
it's been pretty. I like it quite a bit. A lot of the so far, like I haven't gone to the really good bits apparently, but so far, just the dialogue alone is like surprisingly good.
Yeah, I think it helps make up for that really slow start at the beginning. Because
Yeah,
the first
like
half of Mystery Dungeon, I will admit, is not the best. It's definitely got weak points, especially considering that it's very, like, it feels very beginning.
yeah,
But
and
when
the
it
beginning
moves
definitely.
over into the next town, that is when shit hits the fan and it's good stuff.
Yeah, That's the one thing. You're in that starting town for a bit too long for my liking.
That is my one complaint.
But yes, I think I'm about to get to the good stuff, and I'm looking forward to that because I do like Mystery Dungeon. It's just I hadn't bothered with Gates to Infinity, so it's been a while since I played a Mystery Dungeon title.
I heard it was a very whatever entry, to be fair.
Yeah,
And hey, I love Mystery Dungeon too. It's probably the best Pokemon spin-off Pokemon's got to offer. If you don't want to include Coliseum and such.
yeah. Uh, I played Gunvolt.
Hey,
I like
I guess. I don't
I,
know.
I like Gunvolt quite a bit. Uh,
I heard it was good.
sh- shout out to our listener Tom for gifting me that on Steam. By the way,
You're right, he did gift it to you, didn't he?
yeah.
I completely
That,
forgot about that. Thanks, Tom.
Shout out to Tom. He's a good dude.
Good dude.
Um, yeah, no, I like Gunvolt quite a bit. It has its quirks mainly in the level design, but I think it's like its core mechanics are strong enough to make like a really good game out of them. So I really like Gunvolt 1, but I really also do hope Gunvolt 2 kind of improves on some of my gripes with the first game.
Well, I mean, considering, like, as an outsider view, considering it seems to be more leading on Zero-S styled Mega Man platforming, I'd like to think it will also follow the Zero route where the first game isn't necessarily the best, but it lays a good foundation on what they can do.
Yeah,
And
I
Zero Two just goes, hey, yo, buddy, check this out.
yeah. I actually recently replayed Zero One and don't consider myself the biggest fan of that one. It's not a bad game, but it's like it's fucking frustrating. It's really fucking frustrating.
I can see that at points, yeah. God forbid you ever take on that one Falcon boss.
New Arcadia can eat my dick.
Oh man, I remember being on like the longest time, always falling off these particular platforms, like going up to Neo Arcadia and being
The,
like,
the the limited retry system really doesn't help with that.
yeah, not a fan.
That's one thing I'm like, ooh, because like I think as well, if you were to like finish like the X series with say X5 and then move on to the Zero series, you are in for such a rude awakening because the difficulties of those of like X5 and Zero One are not even comparable.
Yeah, Zero is way clearly the harder game.
Yeah, I mean like the other Zero games are still hard, but they smooth it out a bit. Zero One's very rough.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, if you were ever burnt out by Mighty Number 9, we'll get to that later, but if you ever burnt out of that game, and you see Gunvolt on, like, sale or something, it's worth a shot, I'd say. It's a good game.
It's available on Wii U, 3DS, and Steam, I think.
I'm not sure about Wii U, but I know it's 3DS and Steam, at least.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure. I think the second one's gonna be on Wii U, right? Is that the
Maybe?
case? Or I'm not even sure. Whatever. The point is, there you go. There's his recommendation.
Yeah.
But anything else?
Well, another game, but that's something we've both been playing quite a lot of over break, so I figured I'd just let you mention that after you talk about your games.
Fair enough then. Well, I mean, I can go on to the topic. I'll put that as like the second last one because there's one game in particular I want to mention that will lead into our big topic of the fucking podcast. It's
Oh
really,
boy.
you could say, grind my gears. But regardless, in terms of like the first game, I guess I'd talk about. I played the new Kirby, Planet Robobot. You played that too, didn't you?
Hmm?
Planet Robobot, Kirby.
Oh, fuck it. I forgot about that. Yeah, I played that one as well, actually.
Yeah, it's good shit, ain't it?
It's fucking
I
great.
definitely say it's the best Kirby since '64 for me, anyways. Because I may be just
Best.
a bit biased since that's my
I
favorite.
Supercell Ultra's been my favorite for a while, but nah, Robobot's better, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely comes
Robobot is
close for
just my
me.
favorite.
Because it's just
Robobot
go ahead.
Robobot is just my favorite Kirby game.
It's just genuinely like the best gimmick, honestly, since like
The
64 for
best
me.
the best gimmick, the most inventive level design in the series, I'd argue.
Yeah, especially with what they do with the gimmick. It's like the most consistent because they actually like keep going with it throughout all the levels. It's not just randomly
Yeah.
placed within like a level at the end of the world, for like a small little puzzle, kind of like how Triple
Yeah.
Deluxe did. And not to necessarily to say that was bad, but I really prefer
I
this kind of playstyle with the Robomech.
Especially since like the Robomech can also use copy abilities, and
And
like
it completely
if
changes
you
the game that way.
if you get like say wheel, it turns into a more like quick like reflection kind of
If you get
thing.
Jet, it turns into a little shooter section.
It's really neat.
It's good stuff, and I'm like, I appreciate that. It's also got some genuinely really good mixes. I won't say the mini games are particularly great, but I do love Meta Nightmare because
Meta
that's good
Nightmare's
stuff.
great.
And it also has a lot of really good bosses. I think a lot of the bosses in Planet Robobot are some of the best we've had in quite a while, especially in Meta Nightmare. Some of the returning ones that come back, I'm like, whoo, whoo.
Yeah,
I won't spoil that though for those who haven't played it. It's good stuff.
it, it's just genuinely great.
Would highly recommend, regardless of price. Because
Yeah.
I assume since it's a Nintendo game, it'd still be like at the 40 mark. But I'd say it's well worth that price,
Oh no, it's worth the 40, definitely.
without a doubt. In terms of other games though, it's a lot more like random kind of side stuff that I pick up in like the middle of the night where I'm like, man, I just realized that I bought way too many Steam games. Let's go through some Steam games.
Join the club. I have like 40 games in my library. I've played through less than 10, I'm sure.
Fair enough, man. I've got like over 200. I think I've played 100.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm part of that group that's like, I buy the games and I never play them. I'm guilty of
I
it,
bought.
I
I mean,
know.
I usually when I buy it, I do intend to play, but I also just get gifted a lot of shit.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And it doesn't help that like that shit relates to a later topic. But anyways, getting off sidetrack. I played Wasteland. That's a fun little game. That's like a really old DOS game. That's kind of like the predecessor to the Fallout series. It's very minimalistic because of that. But considering I named all the characters after like us two and a few other friends, it was very fun to imagine the kind of situations in my mind, and that's kind of what kept me going in the end. Cause
Nice.
she like our good shit poster friend Jeff getting cloned and having two of him with like giant nail baseball bats killing like children's dogs, and then the children is just like, yes,
Great.
this is most certainly a fucking video game.
Nice.
There's also like replaying shit like Strider, the new Strider, mind you, the Metroidvania one, which I think still holds
Oh,
up.
I actually recently got it off Humble Bundle for like $1, so I need
It's
to play
well worth
that.
that price, Christ.
Yeah. I've always liked the first two Starter games. I've always been meaning to get to the new one, but I never quite did. But then it was so cheap, I was just like, nah, man.
Well,
I
I mean,
have to.
it's nothing like particularly amazing at all, but I'd say it's a pretty damn good time. Especially for a
I'm glad.
Metroidvania, and especially one handled by fucking Double Helix, who, before Strider came out, I've only known as the guys who killed Silent Hill. You know.
I was so. It's weird because like at first it was like, oh fuck, Double Helix,
Now it's
no,
like, oh fuck, Double Helix, yeah!
because they also were responsible for like Killer Instinct, which was apparently really good.
The best fighter on Xbox One. Don't you mean the only one? Shut up. Not the point.
But like, it's so weird how the guys who first made like fucking Silent Hill Homecoming have made such a turnaround.
It's like it's a completely different team. I'm not sure on that case, but I'd like to think that is the case.
Or at least mostly a different team.
Yeah. And then there's like the really random fucking shit, because I also bought a Humble Bundle recently. The Sierra Humble Bundle. And I
Ooh,
finished a game called Phantasmagoria.
I think I've heard of
It's a
that.
very
Is it?
old FMV point and click done by the same person who handled the King's Quest series.
Huh.
It is unbelievably terrible in like
Nice.
every single aspect. Well, you know what? It's kind of the charm of it. It's kind of like old point and clicks like Darkseid and adventure games like Shadow of Destiny, where they're so unbelievably horrible to every degree to the point where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I can get behind that. And I only spent $1, like a couple dollars anyways, on it. Figured I'd
Oh,
add a
that's
few
cool.
more, considering it's Humble Bundle. It is for a good cause.
Yeah. I know. The Sierra side of point and clicks has admittedly never really caught my interest too much, unlike, say, Telltale's earlier stuff and a lot of the LucasArts things.
Oh yeah, there's a good reason for that. Let me
But
just tell you that.
I don't know. At least for those, it's funny to like at least see a video of it and go, "Huh, so hokey."
So hokey. Yeah, the one thing Sierra's got going for them is that they are really the pioneers of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I
And
can at
then
least have respect.
you can respect. I respect that, but it's also at the same time like, well, others also have done it better.
There's
But
also
you know,
like Grim Fandango and such, which is like the magnum opus.
pretty much.
So you know,
Yeah.
only recommend if you're like extremely mildly curious, or you could just watch a playthrough by Red Supre, because that works too.
That probably works better, actually.
Yeah,
But
because then you get funny commentary along with it instead of going, oh. But other than that, there's the one game we've been playing a lot. We finally got sucked into the MMO phase through Final Fantasy XIV.
oh boy.
And yeah, we got sucked. We got sucked hard. Because within the span of playing it, currently, according to Steam, I've put 87 hours into it.
I think I've put a little less into it, but it's probably the thing is I'm playing it on PS4, so I don't have
He
a
doesn't
reference of
have a
time,
track record to haunt him for the rest of his life.
which I'm pretty glad about because I'm pretty sure if I looked at my playing time now, I would be depressed.
All the time could have been spent on something else.
If we spend on this
I
stupid
know what I'm
fucking
doing, but
MMO.
I can't help it. But you know what? Despite that, it's very fun to play with friends whenever we all can get
Yeah,
on and do a bit of dungeon shit. And now we can all officially ride Whisper mounts because of the Yokai event. And
I
that's just
still refuse.
amazing. No, you have to do it. We have to get a
No.
photo. Share it with all our friends. Hashtag Whisper Squad.
I don't want to be part of the hashtag Whisper Squad.
Of course you do. You're just in denial. Don't worry, I'll convince you. But yeah, no, 14, like, I was shocked at how much I was enjoying it, especially after my first exposure to 14 was a few videos talking about how the original 14 was the fucking worst thing in existence.
Oh god.
Because the original
I
14
was
is
actually
disgusting.
I was actually like at first super against the idea of Realm Reborn because it's like, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do?
Oh,
But
that's what they did.
oh, I'm actually impressed.
You got me, good.
God.
I can't comment back with that, like, shit.
But yeah, 14's been really good. I've been enjoying it a lot. It's gonna have to hold me over for 2 extra months now.
Yes. I bought extra time because my trial
Glad-
went out.
Glad I bought extra time too. Probably gonna have to do it again.
Whoop whoop.
Fucking thanks, Square.
No, I appreciate the fact that this is finally like a fully realized Final Fantasy MMO because, well, it's kind of what they've been wanting to do for so long at this point, and to finally see them
Yeah.
reach that without having to like stoop so low to the usual Square practices, it's cool.
Yeah, it's been a genuinely enjoyable experience. It's been doing things I've been wanting for Final Fantasy since like 9. So
Absolutely. Although I
it's
will
it
argue the fact that I have skipped the story because I just simply
yeah.
like I've got friends waiting and we gotta get to the dungeons and such. But I will look over it once I get the chance. But I will say the overall world itself is genuinely interesting.
I think more because I think the thing with Final Fantasy is a lot of the time it wants you to feel like, oh yeah, you're really an adventure in this vast epic world. But a lot of the time, Final Fantasy worlds are very linear and like the world isn't quite as vast as they want you to think it is. But I think they really hit that kind of spot with 14.
Yeah,
I guess the MMO formula really helped in that case.
due to hardware limitations and such. But here on the good old PC and the MMO format with expansions and such, they can do that.
I think they've really hit. I think they've really hit like that kind of stride super hard here.
It's like one of the most popular MMOs at the moment, if not the most
For,
popular, honestly.
I don't. I yeah. Honestly, I don't think WoW has been quite as popular lately. So
Yeah, I heard a new expansion came out, but like whatever. After fucking Kung Fu Panda,
yeah,
and
after Mr.
especially after they
Pandaria,
released Overwatch, who the fuck's playing WoW anymore?
yeah, the entire most of the MMO creators basically like ran off to 14 at that rate. Everyone who was like super into Blizzard stuff was ran off to Overwatch.
So
Yeah.
but on the like mentioned Yokai Watch, and I completely forgot for a second. Then I realized, oh wait a minute, I actually did finish the first Yokai Watch recently.
I bought that recently. I should play it.
You should. It's kind of like in the same scenario as I'd say Azure and Zero One for you, where it's more of a template game, I'd say. But I feel
That's
this
fair.
template game in particular's got a lot of charm going on for it to the point where it's like, okay, you got me. If you could do something cool with the sequel and like iron out some of the stupid shit like how to recruit yokai with a dumb food gimmick and maybe make some of the side quests a bit more interesting, then I'd say we'd have a very big winner on the 3DS. I heard the
Yeah,
second one's been pretty good since, that's been out for a while and the third one just got released in Japan. So I'm hoping for good stuff.
same.
And it does make me interested
Uh,
in watching the actual cartoon.
the actual cartoon is fucking insanity. It's basically a fever dream.
Apparently so. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah,
But now for the big one.
but was there anything else you wanted to talk
Dim the
about?
lights, get comfy. I'm gonna talk about a game I've been looking forward to for a
Okay, I've
while
actually
now.
dimmed my lights, so
Yeah.
you go
Are
ahead.
you actually dimming your lights?
I've actually just dimmed my
I
lights.
wish I could have live camera footage of KM dimming his lights. But regardless, Deus Ex Mankind Divided came out
Ooh,
about a week ago.
I know what you're gonna talk about.
Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna lead
just
into
gonna
our
just
big
gonna
topic.
sit back.
Yeah, so okay. Deus Ex, the original, is my favorite game of all time. Deus Ex Invisible War is one of the worst games I've ever played. Human Revolution is one of my favorite games of all time. Mankind Divided had a lot to live up to after what Human Revolution said, because what they basically wanted to do, just make a better Human Revolution. And it's like, okay, I'm down with that. Absolutely. Especially since the fact that, like, they outright retconned their fucking ending from Human Revolution just to make this. The game was in development for, I want to say, 5 years. And I was just genuinely curious on how they were going to handle it. Red flags started going off around the beginning of the year when they pushed back the release date from February to August. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Take all the time you need to make the best game possible. It was also the time they did the whole augment your pre-order garbage, where
Wasn't that pretty much revoked like soon
a
after?
fucking day later, yes, for good reason, because it was the dumbest thing they could have possibly done. It was basically, we're gonna take out content from the game, and we'll give it to you if we get enough pre-orders. And it's like, no, no, you're not. Give me my content. It's like, okay, okay. Later on, of course, there was a season pass, $30. And it's like, okay. On the day of release, the Twitter account specifically posted the time of release for like the download versions, and I noticed one thing. The PC version, which I've pre-ordered because I usually feel that the PC versions of the Deus Ex series in particular are the best way to go. That's how it was always meant to be. Yeah, I hear you snickering, boy. So, pre-ordered
I know
for
it is
90
going.
bucks. 90 bucks pre-ordered. And I noticed that the time of release was a bit late. And they added a little bit, like a little small note. You could bring out your little magnifying glass and read it. We're going to make sure that everyone is on and ready to go when the Steam release is up, because we want to make sure you have the best experience possible. And that just kind of like, my sirens are going off at that point, like, hold up, wait a minute, hold up. When you want to make sure this is perfect as possible, are you saying like there's something wrong? Are you worried about something here? And oh, they're worried about something, all right, because the PC port is fucking garbage.
Yeah, there it is.
Garbage. Jensen lands into the sand dunes on the ground. He looks around and notices, man, my mouse movement is really fucking fast. I am really fast. I take a step forward. I don't recall Mankind Divided running at 5 frames. Oh. $90. The fucking you couldn't get past, like, once you finished the intro mission of the game, you couldn't get past a specific cutscene in the game at the train station because it would just crash. Once the terrorist bomb goes off, the game just crashes.
So they just bombed the game itself, yeah.
Yes, that was the joke I made on Twitter as like the first thing that happened. And then I load the game back up. I try it 5 more times and I get the exact same result.
5? I would have given it up after like 3, maybe.
I am a desperate motherfucker when it comes to Deus Ex, okay? I am willing to pull up with a lot of garbage. A lot of garbage. But then when it hit number 5, I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm waiting. I'm just gonna have to wait for a patch, I guess. They release a patch. You can get to that area. Alright, cool. You get to the hub world and you're having fun. It's alright. I'm really liking how they're doing the hub world shit and all. This is good. It's good stuff. Like, the performance is a bit... maybe it'll get fixed up. You get to a subway station on the train, and the game is stuck on a loading screen. I attempted to get past this another 5 times. And at that point, I'm like, no. I didn't want to do this, but I'm getting a refund. And I got a refund.
Boy.
And I spent all the money on friends. The end.
Hey, how nice of you.
But, like, I was so disappointed, because I specifically remember, I believe it was the Comic-Con panel in particular, where the director came up to the microphone, licking his moist lips, and speaking of how the X-Men Divided on the PC is going to be the top priority, as always. It is our best version of the game. And then, later down the line, you realize, wait a minute, they didn't do the PC version. Apparently some other people ported the PC version. And the weird part is that they have a good track record. And then this garbage happens, and it's like, okay.
Because I was about to say, usually when it's like someone else porting the PC version specifically, that's usually a death flag.
God, ain't that the truth? And they felt like they had to mention this, like, the day before release. And it's like, the weird part is that they removed the review embargo like 4 days earlier than the game's release. So it's like, well, they're not afraid to show off their game, because it seems like the console version of the game is fine. Like, there's barely any issues with that. Like, there's hiccups. There is some stuff that needs to be kept in mind. Like, apparently load times are still worse than Human Revolution somehow.
Great.
But despite that, apparently, like, the gameplay itself is amazing. And it's like, okay, so what happened? 5 years of development, what happened? What went down, guys? I'd like to know. I'd like you to be open about this, please. As a huge fan of your franchise. But yeah, that just left a sour taste in my mouth. Now I can only hope that Apocalypse at least perks me up.
I mean, you have a PS4, so you can still purchase the console version if you want.
At some point I will, but not now. I refuse to now. I will wait for either Christmas or a price drop. It's just simple as that. Because I don't want to spend another 60 or 90 just like that,
Fair enough.
It's just hard to, like, do that after, being kicked in the dick and then getting piss in your mouth.
Delicious.
Delicious Mountain Dew. But despite that, I wanted to touch on something that leads into our big topic of the Fuck Square podcast. Because there's one small thing in Mankind I didn't realize until it went up called microtransactions. In Deus Ex, there are microtransactions and a season pass that gets you items in game. Some of them are like $5 for a sniper pack, which gives you a sniper gun with a few bits of ammo. Guess the price. Just take a guess.
$5?
$5?
$10?
You got it! Ding ding!
Great.
$5 for a weapon you could easily find in game if you just searched hard enough. Or bought it off, the in-game shop. Not out-game shop where you use real-life money. And I wouldn't be so pissed if, like, the season pass and microtransaction orders weren't only for, one playthrough of the game.
Oh,
God forbid you bought the season pass and used it for a single playthrough, because once you used it for that one playthrough, you can't use it again. You just wasted $30. Congrats.
that's fucking ridiculous.
Yes. Yes, it is. It absolutely should not be in the game, but despite that, it is. And I solely blame Square. 100%. I'm sure the dev team has something to do with it too. I don't doubt that. But Square has pulled this kind of crap through all of their recent games as of late. And I hate that. I really, really hate that.
Same.
Like, we'll get to your game in a bit. Because they pulled a bit of a garbage move. But, like...
You just finish up Deus Ex, because I feel like when we move to that game, that's when the discussion will really open up.
Yeah, because then that's where all the seams kind of pop up, and it's like, oh, Square... What are you fucking doing?
Stop it!
Stop it. And it just, like, all the microtransactions, all the performance shit makes me wonder, they had, like, 5 years to develop this game. And Square obviously realized on the, augment your pre-order crap that the fans don't appreciate their practices. They know what's up, yet they pull it in the end in some manner anyway. And it's like they think that they're gonna get away with it. No. Because, man, if there's one awesome thing Steam did recently, it's the fact that you can fucking refund your product.
Yep.
Because that just shows, no, you're not getting away with my money. I want it back. And the reviews, like, have clearly shown on, like, the Steam page alone, it's a mixed reception. And all the highlighted negative reviews have been... We are tired of Square's practices of microtransactions and such, and this is just an awful PC port. We will not accept this. I would not recommend this. Sorry. There are, of course, the people who look past that, like, look, if you got a really, really good PC, you could look past some of the mistakes. You'll have a good time. But despite that, I don't even think I could get past that. Because that shit just bothers me.
I think... I definitely feel like it's a practice that on most occasions, no one should really support, but I also think, like, that's something you have to, like, you have to weigh this kind of thing personally with, like, how much you, like, don't want to support this kind of thing, and how much you actually, like, really want to play a certain thing.
Yeah, it's a very difficult decision. Kind of like a Deus Ex game, ironically. It just sucks. I shouldn't have to do this for a goddamn video game.
Yeah, no, I think that's the underlying issue. I should not have to question my personal fucking morals in things before I purchase a video
game.
I feel like if that's the state of the industry right now, it's things are pretty fucked.
That's terrible. That's disgusting.
Yeah. And, a lot of people aren't bothered by that. And, more power to you.
More power to you. You know what? You can ignore the microtransactions. They don't force it onto you. But at the same time, they're still there.
It feels like stuff that should just be in the game.
It just should not be there to begin with. It should not be proudly placed on the main menu. And within the game's, like, inventory. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I feel like more than anything, like, there's a place for microtransactions in like free-to-play mobile shit,
Not
not in like
$60
$60
PS4
games.
PC products.
That's not where they should be. I've already spent like 60 plus maybe some additional shit for like a special edition or something. I don't feel like I should just be constantly doling out money for this one product that I'll be finished with. Because the other thing, like transactions, at least in my case, is that they're usually there for like stuff that can go on forever, like MOBAs or like say a rhythm game that has constant like new songs added to it.
MMO.
Yeah.
Or it's like in-game item shit you can buy for like real money.
Like stuff like that, sure, but not in like a in like a game that is supposed to be one solitary confined adventure of its own.
Yeah, the thing with like mobile MMOs is that those base product games, like for the most part, it's not always the case, of course, because there's still shitty people out there. But, like really good MMOs and MOBAs, they're finished, they're done. They're just adding on to like an already established kind of base.
Yeah.
With shit like when they do the cut shit with like season passes and microtransactions within main games on like PS4, it's like a single player adventure. It feels like they're removing content from the game that you're already paying max price for.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't do that. Give me my game. Like, God. I shouldn't have to be, like, complaining about this.
Yeah.
The only thing I should be worrying about is this a good game or a bad game?
Yeah, if it's good or bad. Not, do I personally morally object to the choices the company making the game are giving? Because this was shit I had to think about when even purchasing, like, Fire Emblem, for fuck's sake.
Exactly. Because that's just shitty practice. Like, you shouldn't. No. Bad. Bad, Square. Bad.
Bad.
Nah. I'm done. That's all I can say on Mankind Divided. I'll just say that I am very disappointed. And it really was a big blow. And not in the way that I was expecting. Which I think makes it worse.
Now, if we want to talk about recent Square news, there's an elephant in the room. One that I've kind of alluded to before.
Hello, elephant. Pat, pat.
Oh, we meet again.
Oh, this has been a fun ride, isn't it?
So, remember when they had the big whole event about, hey, finally got a release date for Final Fantasy 15. It's like this whole 1.5 hour thing, announced a bunch of shit, big thing, everyone was there. This was supposed to be the final release date.
Here we go.
Still late. 2 months. They needed 2 extra months.
Da 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 da. It's great, right?
Now, to start off there, the delay is weird because it's this kind of double-edged sword where, like, the reasoning behind the delay seems solid enough. The game is pretty much finished, but they needed an extra 2 months to polish up a lot of graphical hiccups and performance issues.
Oh man, where have I heard that one before?
And in their credit, from what people told me who've played that quote-unquote unfinished version, yeah, that was probably a good decision on their part. And even the way they announced the delay wasn't necessarily bad, because it was just the developer just sitting down saying, okay, we're sorry, it's delayed.
Again.
But you made a fucking event for the release date.
You can't just pull that. I understand that it sounds like major bitching over here over such a small thing, but you gotta keep in mind the legacy that 15 has.
Not only the legacy, like, they know the legacy, because that's why the release date of that was such a big thing.
Such a huge deal. That's why it was a whole big party event.
It's like, finally, the thing's coming out, so, like, I appreciate Tabata just coming on screen and being like, okay, this is why we're sorry. Like, I appreciate that, okay, fine, but, no. I think this is also a really good lesson. Don't make a fucking big deal out of your release date. Don't do that, because the shit it can lead to is like, it can damage shit. It can damage reputations. It can damage your company, for fuck's sake.
It's gotten to the point where it's like, I think I've mentioned it before with a man called Gaming Bright who's developed a video, but basically talking about how release dates are and how games should announce their dates when the game is finished, when it's more
Yeah.
so complete. 'Cause there's a game called SMT4 Apocalypse that basically did that, which is kind of funny because within the same company, there's a game called Persona 5.
Which has, well, not to the severity of 15, has seen similar kind of results.
Yeah, it's very similar. Not to the same extent, of course, of 15 Godot.
Of course not, but, you know, on a base level, very similar cases.
Yes, absolutely. It's gone to that point where it's like, okay, look, you need to announce your game when you're like, yeah, okay, it's done. Here, we're gonna show off a bit of it. Here you go. Get excited. Not to the point of where it's like, coming soon. Get hyped.
If we're gonna talk about that and kind of go outside the Square box, a game that's been in a very similar position as well, and which has recently come out and has pretty much disappointed nearly everyone, is No Man's Sky.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
That is a game that was like supposed to be this big thing, like a leap forward almost.
A leap forward in the kind of procedurally generated game where it's like, you can do anything.
It's like
The
we're gonna have
sandbox.
we're gonna have all of this shit. It's gonna be great. They didn't have much of it.
The first time they showed it off, all right, this looks intriguing. 1 year later, are they showing the same footage? 1 year later, they're showing the same footage. This is the same footage.
It appeared on Sony's E3 for like 3 or 4 years.
It's been the same footage every time. It's the same footage.
Yep.
And it's like, there's a reason for that. Because No Man's Sky is alive.
Yep. Bad
Shamefully,
lie.
too. I mean, I can't say I was excited. I was interested at first. Of course, over the years, when people point out, hey, guys.
Call me a cynic. I always felt that No Man's Sky was going to be one of those things that was like, you are definitely promising way more than you will probably end up delivering in the end.
You're biting more.
I got that. I got that feeling from like the debut trailer, which I guess is very like cynical and jumping the
You were
gun on
watching
my point.
E3. It doesn't matter. Everyone's on cynical mode when it comes to E3 for good reason.
Yeah.
Ay. But yeah, the point is release dates suck.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to maybe barge in a bit here with the more of the Square practices for 15. So what do you feel about season passes?
I'll give them credit for at least going. We're producing this after we've actually finished the game, as like genuine extra stuff. But at the same time, maybe it's just like the practices of the game industry as of late have conditioned me to just like automatically hate anything that's got the name season pass on it.
Yeah, especially since like there are so many terrible examples you can like pull up.
No, I feel like since we've just gone like text of like, oh, this is what it's going to be, I can't say for sure how badly 15's gonna handle it, but considering that it's a season pass again, it's like it's probably not gonna be great.
Yeah.
And it's just like
it sucks.
I think what hurts that more than anything is also just the fact that it was like the season pass stuff was announced not too far off from when the delay was announced.
The delay got announced, exactly. I think that's the big ball kicker. I think timing's also got a lot to do with this kind of shit you have to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Because, oh my god. We'll get into another example later on, don't worry. With Square owning these kind of games that I'm like excited for, as we've mentioned before throughout the podcast, it makes me just kind of worried for how they're gonna come out.
Yeah, same.
Especially with how, my favorite already turned out disappointing in my eyes. Maybe not for some.
It's
And if
just,
that's the case, good on you. I'm happy, but ugh. It's really
I just,
dampened my view, is the way to put it.
like, as someone who's at least enjoyed both demos, I'm not under the impression that the game is like secretly awful or anything, but it's just I just don't know what to like when the game comes out. I'll just be like, I don't know what to expect, and I just hope it's fun.
You can
I
only
feel
hope.
I feel like that's the only thing I can really hope for with 15 at this point, is that I'll enjoy playing it at least. Like, not even like, oh, this is gonna be great. I just want to enjoy
I
it.
just want to have fun with the game I've been waiting over a decade for, please.
Please, just let me have that much. Doesn't even have to be like game of the year for fuck's sake.
Just
Just
let me
me
have
enjoy
fun.
it.
That's
Fuck.
why I play these. I just want to have fun. I want to have a good experience. I want to have an interesting experience. I don't want to be like, God damn it, all the time.
Exactly.
We're very passionate about this.
Very passionate about this. It's just, I feel like such a hipster twat for saying this, but especially after stuff like the recent E3, it's like I'm just so fucking cynical to like the direction games are heading in now, and I really wish that wasn't the case.
Anything with like AAA over it.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's like just roll eyes, cough.
Just hope it's just hope for something.
And what
I get.
AAA shit can do to a thing like an indie game such as No Man's Sky. Because
Yeah.
it's quite clearly a $20 indie game on Steam marketed as a big AAA game, which it just simply is not.
No, especially with the way the marketing overblew that game.
It's disgusting. Because Sony was pushing it. They were fucking pushing No Man's Sky.
Like, I feel like if No Man's Sky was just like a thing that maybe had like a bit of press and then came out, it would be like, oh, this is like a neat little concept thing. Like, but because like Sony just kept pushing and pushing and pushing it, it's like
it's now known as one of like the biggest disappointments to many who were like actually interested in what it could do if what the devs were saying were true. In which case, the dev of fucking No Man's Sky is the equivalent now to Todd Howard of Bethesda. Everyone remember Todd Howard? It just works. Don't worry, because No Man's Sky dev did that as well. It just works. I can't even remember the guy's name. That's the worst part. It'll probably come to me randomly and I'll just scream it out. Sean Murray! Sean Murray. There you go.
Well, at least you didn't scream it.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I won't have to lower the volume in editing.
So you just save yourself the trouble and don't scream at all.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably for the rest. But yeah, it's just like a bunch of shitty practices all around. And when you see like smaller devs do that kind of thing so well, and at the very least like still attain a cult following, it's just
yeah. It's already affected my favorites. It does not need to spread any further.
Yeah.
And I will do my best to speak that with my wallet, because that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Because quite clearly my voice just isn't loud enough. So my wallet's loud enough. I will not buy their product if this continues. It's just gonna have to go that way. But yeah, fuck Square.
Fuck Square.
Moving on to the fuck roulette though. Hey Nintendo, how you doing?
You fucking bastard. Speaking of fucking evil shit AAA companies.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Can we just talk about how Nintendo has been pleasing absolutely no one?
What are you all doing? It's like a train wreck that you can't look away from. It's like an April Fool's joke that you're waiting for the end of. But it's September, and the joke hasn't stopped.
Anything that's gone worse.
Because I'll tell you one thing. There's been this joke with Metroid going on that's been lasted for about a solid 5 years now. It was never funny to begin with, guys.
And this is not going away.
Oh, can I talk about Metroid first?
Sure.
Because that's my big,
I feel
like the
like
second big elephant.
Yeah.
Alright, so I like Metroid quite a lot. Maybe more so than KO. Game's not the biggest fan,
I
but I
like
think you can
Fusion.
understand where I'm gonna come from with this. So, Metroid's been kind of in a bit of a shithole as of late. You gotta understand where I'm coming from when I'm saying this. Where the series' last big entry, I'm going to say, is Metroid Other M, which came out in 2011. I want to say
2010.
2010. Oh, even better. It's already been that long. Jesus.
I'm like 99% sure it's 2010. Well, you talk. I'll actually look it up.
You do that. See how far we got the researchers going. But anyways, the newest release for the franchise recently came out
I was
called.
right.
Hey, good. The recent game that came out for this franchise after quite a couple of years was Federation Force for the 3DS, which is a chibi co-op shooter in the vein of like Left 4 Dead that looks like it's a $10 eShop download. Because initially when it was showed off, I believe it was at E3 as well with the whole Nintendo event going on in the form of Blast Ball.
It was just Blast Ball when it was first announced.
Which it was like a little sub game within Federation Force, and people were like, oh, "What's this crappy looking Metroid knockoff?" Am I right? Oh, it's the new Metroid, and it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe they'll announce the new game soon, like the actual new game. This is just like some stupid spin-off, whatever. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It is the 30th anniversary of the series now, and they didn't even mention that. No mention whatsoever. And then, a small little game popped up that's been in development for quite a while.
10 years.
Close to a decade, yeah. Called Another Metroid 2 Remake. A game developed by fans that was hoping to zero mission style Metroid 2, which is like a very dated old Game Boy game. It's very hard to go back to. To the point of like the first Metroid, you know. And I'm not even joking, within like a day, within a fucking day, Nintendo's like, hey, what's up? Alright, taking it down. Goodbye. What? Like, what? Now you take it down? The fuckers have been posting updates for like a decade.
And when
you could have stopped it within that development time, guys, but now you take it down when it finally finished. That's scummy.
I think that the fact that like they waited until the thing was finished, it's like, well, it's scummy, yeah, but more than anything, it's mostly to their detriment more than anything.
Absolutely, because it's like, guys, what are you doing? You're only making yourself look bad.
No, they make themselves look bad. Like, let's think about this. Okay, so like, if the thing was like not finished, it's like not even like debate or something got leaked on the internet. It's like, well, no one's gonna get to play that, and everyone's just gonna have to go back to the GB Metroid 2.
Yeah. Which
is aged about as well as like milk that wasn't even good to begin with.
Silk.
But now that the game is finished, like, even if you take, like, all of it, like, they flat out, like, mill the guy saying, no, you can't even, like, make updates on it and post it somewhere else. You can't do anything with this. The file has already been on there. People will get... In fact, I had the 1.0 version downloaded, so this day, I went to look for the 1.1 version. Managed to find it within 5 minutes. It's like, well, you took it down, but it's too late. Like, you didn't accomplish anything other than make fans pissed off at you.
Even more pissed off, because they were already fucking furious when you announced goddamn Federation Force. Within, like, the worst possible timing.
Yeah. No, see...
Go ahead.
Okay, I feel like as someone who has his only Metroid game that he likes is Fusion, I've yet to play Zero Mission or AM2R, which I assume I like more than Super and Prime. And in fact, as someone who got fucking bored of Prime within like half an hour, so like I have like zero interest in the Prime part of Metroid. Even I looked at that and thought, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
What the fuck kind of timing is this, more than anything?
Like,
with like even with say the Paper Mario thing, at least that is just like the constant new direction for the franchise. It's a shit direction, but at least that is the actual direction of the actual like part of that franchise. You
It's becoming quite clear that Metroid is slowly becoming the new Star Fox of Nintendo,
yep.
where they just don't know what they're doing with it, and they're gonna keep making the excuse unless some random thing happens out of the blue that it's an experiment. We're trying something new.
People don't want what. Okay, so you're not willing to experiment with things. Okay, maybe you're willing to experiment with a new Zelda, because that does actually look interesting. But there are a lot of franchises you just do not intend to experiment with, and you release multiple the same game of that for like years. And then the fucking franchises that have got nothing, that's the ones you want to experiment with?
That's
What the
the
fuck?
ones you want to experiment with.
What? I did. It's so frustrating because it just seems so alien to everyone. That's like the most. That's like the most I can take away from this. It's like
they're not even like paying attention to what's clearly going on like the sites of Twitter and such and social media. Because they have a presence on social media quite clearly, but like they're not doing much with it.
It's not even like they don't know about the backlash something like Federation Force God, because I think we mentioned this in the 4th episode, I think.
Around there, trying to recall, they're all blended together.
When we talked about like the last big Nintendo Direct, because there was a 3DS Direct, there fucking nothing happened in that.
Absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, you mean the recent one, right? Yeah, the one I fucking slept through.
Yep, you didn't miss anything. You mostly missed Wii U ports to 3DS. Great.
Woo! I really need to use that Wii U, am I right, guys? The Bayonetta 2 machine! You know!
Bayonetta 2. Fucking fuck. But, they clearly, like, they at least said something along the effect of, we know Federation Force wasn't super well received. Like, something along those lines. So what are you gonna do? Like, you're not even, like, at that point, like, you know, your Federation Force is probably far enough in development to where that isn't really, like, it isn't viable to scrap development of that based on social media reaction alone. I understand that. But you should also take that into consideration when working with a franchise that clearly a lot of people are passionate about, which at the very least has a cult following, which would probably justify making, say, a 2D 3DS game or something. Like, the very least they could have done with this is address the fact that maybe, like, something else relating to Metroid is in development, and this is just say something like, this is just the tide is over until the next release. Like,
don't try and push Federation Force as like a new big next step.
Because like that's what they're doing. That's what they did.
That's what they tried to do, and it's like it's just laughable.
They tried to like the specific thing I think they said is this is the new big entry that takes place in the timeline after Fusion.
And he's specifically like telling the fans, look guys, like it may not look cool, but this is actually really cool, okay? Here, we're gonna talk about it, and it's like the most boring shit. It's like I don't care.
You know, I'm not even like opposed to the idea of Federation Force being a fun game
it at the worst time possible.
I think this is another thing we brought up. But say Hunters came out, for instance. Like, that was a dumb DS spin-off that wasn't even very good from what I know.
That's around the time when like the Prime series was, well, pun aside, at its prime.
Yeah, because like Two Echoes came out like the year before that, and we were getting like Prime Free Corruption like at least a year or two after Hunters. So it's like, oh, well, it's just a dumb spin-off. The title's over until the main shit. The spin-off is not the main shit.
Prime 3 was
People don't play Metroid to play a fucking Left 4 Dead ripoff. Fucking Christ.
If we're not gonna include, like, other M into this, Prime 3 is really the last main Metroid we've gotten. That's nearly a decade ago. And that's not even including a 2D Metroid.
The last 2D Metroid was the Metroid 1 remake in 2004,
12 years ago.
Jesus fucking Christ.
12 years! Like, are you kidding me? What are you doing? Oh, we're releasing a new spin-off. That's the next step in the franchise. Like, bad! Stupid.
It's just not what people want.
Listen to the fans.
Yeah, Federation Force is probably a harmless spin-off that can actually be like fun with friends. Sure, but
because of its announcement and like the time it was announced, it's going to go down as one of like the worst entries in the franchise and a big like controversial one at that.
a big misstep.
Yes. It's as simple as that. It sucks, but it's the truth. And another thing, I just wanted to mention this. It's clearly you can look at other companies who have looked at fan games and they've acquired their like quite clear talents to their own arsenal. Motherfucking Sonic has gotten this down.
It's got a new game in development, basically by mostly people who've worked on fan games
throughout the years, and it's like now they have them, and people are fucking ecstatic about it. Like, yes, this is what people have been begging for. This is what Sonic Fortress should have been.
Yeah, like Sonic Mania looks genuinely great. It's a Sonic game I'm fucking excited for.
It's a Sonic game I'm excited for. Like, I can't believe it. They did it. It looks cool.
Like, okay, I understand that like inherently AM2R is going to have issues with copyright just based on the fact that it is indeed a remake of a pre-existing product.
Yeah, of like an already existing game that's like quite clearly better than the one they're selling on eShop.
So it's like, okay, I can sort of see it, like, but it's just more than anything that the time of the DMCA is what hurts here.
Yes, that's what I was getting at in the beginning.
It's just weird.
It's just bad timing.
Yeah, it's just bad timing.
You don't gain
like,
anything from this. You just made yourself look bad. Simple as that.
If you DMCA'd it before it came out, it's like, I can at least see where you would come from, because you do gain something from doing that. But in this situation, it's like, you don't get anything. You just get people angry at you, and less willing to support your product.
And that's never a good thing.
Hell, if anything, like, Metroid 2 eShop being the reason AM2R got taken down probably means people would be less willing to buy Metroid 2 eShop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna buy it. I have no interest considering I already don't really care much for Metroid 2.
What a lot of people do is the thing. If anything, AM2R would have upped Metroid 2 interest, because people would have been like, ooh, what was the original game like?
It's just bad. Just bad.
Doesn't really help, but aside from maybe the new Zelda, although I am not super sure on that.
Yeah, again, that's another experimental kind of thing they're doing. We're not sure if that's going to turn out well, but I do have interest in it, of course.
But aside from that, honestly, unless they announce like a really super strong lineup for the NX, I can't see myself purchasing a lot more of their product. And that's the other thing. The NX is coming on, like, what, 6 months? How much do we know about that?
Is it coming out in 6 months?
I thought it was coming out, like March or so, at least early 2017 or something like that.
What? No way. No, don't listen to stupid rumors. There's no way.
Hang on.
If that's the case, then that's actually the worst kind of marketing.
Hang on, I'm going on there to fucking...
Intermission. He's coming back.
No. Oh, for fuck's sake, most of the guys just... fuck. Fine, just have fucking John Arbuckle play.
Yes!
Fuck it! Yeah, no, March 2017.
March 2017? What?
Yep.
Is that like the official Nintendo account you read off?
Yep.
Well, you better send me a screen cap to just put that over the video, because I have a hard time believing that one. Oh, God. Oh. Yeah, like, what did they even announce during that Direct? Like, a new 2D Pikmin by the Yoshi's New Island devs.
Fucking great.
Fucking great. Ports of Wii U games to the 3DS that lose features that made them, like, the reason to play to begin with. Like Mario Maker 3DS, where you can't even search for levels. Like, God. And
Yeah.
what Wii U games do they have? Color Splash?
Color Splash, Mario Party for the 3DS, Mario Maker for the 3DS.
Mario.
When when you can't even share levels online with.
Yes. I'm at a loss. I can't think of anything.
Nope. Neither can I.
Because the other stuff they showed off, it's like third-party stuff. It's like so whatever. It's so whatever.
Yeah.
There's nothing here.
And it's just like, you're gonna release a fucking console like in like 6 months.
That nobody knows.
We don't even know what.
When do you plan to unveil it? Ugh.
I really don't know.
I'm just confused. I'm so confused.
Same.
What kind of world am I living in? Because it feels like I'm just in a joke.
I honestly expect there to be a delay for the NX at this rate.
Yeah, I can believe it. I can believe that the delay was the intended release at this point, because, like, I highly doubt that that's the intended release of March. Like, no, just...
I just don't think it's viable more than anything.
Yeah. Oh.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm done. I can't.
No.
That's all I've got, honestly. Unless it's something that you wanted to mention.
No, in terms of Nintendo stuff, no.
Yeah.
By the way, putting the link in the chat here so we can use that later.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I turned off the notification sound for this recording. Because otherwise I have to put up a big boop.
Oh well.
We're professional, don't worry.
Very professional for 10 subscribers. Anyway. Yeah, no, I'm fucking done here with Nintendo at least. Fuck off.
Well, what else did you want to mention that wasn't Nintendo? Is there
well...
anything at all?
Well, I mean, there was one thing we talked about before that recording got lost in space or something.
If you feel like it's still viable to talk about, I can go on about it.
I feel like it's a discussion that will still have its place for quite a while.
All right. You can lead off this one then.
So, remember when I talked about Gunvolt? How people got burned on Mighty Number 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you are like 2 months late to this, Mighty Number 9 sucks.
Mighty Number 9 is fucking garbage. There's also another disappointment for the year we can list off. Oh, Mighty Number 9. Oh.
Again, I know we're late with this because we haven't recorded in a while, but just the general implications of where Mighty Number 9 comes from and what impact Mighty Number 9 could possibly have, I think...
not only indie games, but the Kickstarter industry.
Yeah. I feel like it is something that we will be seeing, like, the results of for quite a while.
It's gonna go down in legacy along with, like, the big games, I'd argue. Like, the ones that people are like, this is so hot garbage, like... To the extent of something like, say, Sonic 06.
Yeah.
Sonic 06, I'd argue, is the kind of quality it would go down as.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
And it's such a shame, because this is the kind of story it should not have turned out to be. This is, like, the bad future we are in right now. Where, again, Mighty Number 9 came out at a time. It's all based on timing. This is just the whole podcast is timing here. Where Capcom treated Mega Man in a very poor way. With the constant, like, cancellation of all the projects going on at the moment that people were genuinely really interested in. Legends 3, I'm looking at you once again.
Oh boy.
That one in particular was a big blow.
That's the crutch of like what. Oh, that's like one of the big crutches of what made the Mighty Number 9 situation initially happen.
And then at that point, KG left. He left Capcom in general, and then he started up his own little small company. Concept, and that's around the time when they announced their little Kickstarter project for Mighty Number 9. And people were ecstatic, because it's like, oh my god, new Mega Man. Yeah, let's do it. Get it funded, and man, they funded the fuck out of it. $4 million.
Yep.
$4 million reduce. That is way above what they asked for.
And which ended up being kind of the linchpin of a lot of later development problems.
Yeah, kind of to the point where the $4 million mark is like a joke or a really bad
Yep.
point on Mighty Number Nine's like overall quality in the end. Because let's look at the process of the development for Mighty Number Nine. So let's see. That's also a game that went through plenty of delays, poor communication with the fans on what exactly was going on, especially with backers, where some would just not even
Yep.
receive the fucking rewards when the game came out, or the wrong
Not
rewards.
wrong rewards. I know a friend of ours in particular didn't even get the code to like log onto the forums for backers or something.
Yeah, I think he got like the wrong DLC code for something for his Steam release.
Yep.
Although I'm not quite sure on that. That was a very dark day as well. Um, the announcement of like several different other projects within the development of the game, despite the fact that the game didn't even come out, like a fucking cartoon show, and that didn't even get a
Which
Kickstarter. So that makes me wonder. Hold up, where'd they get the money
what
for
the
that?
fuck? But then the biggest of these projects, which ended up being to the detriment of Mighty Number Nine, was their attempt at a Legends spiritual successor called Red Ash.
Red Ash, Red Ash, which didn't even get funded. Because at that point, people like are starting to catch on. Like, hold up, what are you doing? Well,
No, fuck
just
you.
Red Ash. It's a new game. It's gonna release Mighty Number. No. You finished Mighty Number 9. Don't worry about this. No. 2 games. 2 games. No. Bad. But despite the
So
fact that that didn't get funded, out of the blue, they announced this one company pitched in with like the amount needed for just like the game, and it was like
so it's
this
like
really shady Chinese website.
this isn't a true games console.
Yeah. I'm gonna pop that up on the screen at one point.
It's something to that effect. I don't remember the exact quote, but I think it was something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then they have like a separate Kickstarter for an anime,
Yep.
which got funded too. I think
That one did get funded, actually.
that one did. That one did or did not?
It did.
It did. Okay, just met the mark then.
Yeah, just met the mark, actually.
So here we are in this very weird situation upon like the game slowly coming out. Trailers pop up by like Deep Silver, and it's literally like a meme trailer at that point. Like
Yep.
everybody knows it. Crying like an anime fan on prom night. Yeah.
I think the ones crying like anime fans on prom night were concept themselves, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean, because holy shit, when that game launched, and when KG came out, like it's better than nothing. That was the lowest blow he could have possibly done.
Yep.
Like, hey guys, I know you gave me $4 million for this game and all, and you were thinking I was going to make like a really high quality Mega Man S title. But here's the fact. I'm going to give you this game that's barely finished, despite the fact of being over a solid development time, and you're just going to accept it. It's better than nothing. I might make other stuff later on if I feel like it. That's okay, right? That's fine.
Fucking...
Yeah, totally, KG. You got it. Nicely done, Con Man. Nicely done. I applaud you. Oh, let's not even give it to the fact of like the actual performance of Mighty Number 9. Throughout every single console has like their own unique problem, and that's kind of incredible. Because
it's
like the Wii U version, in particular, has been known to brick consoles.
Brick or at least crash him.
The Steam version of Mighty Number 9 is looked upon by like virus protection software as an outright virus.
Yep.
Where like they actually want you to not run it, and for good reason, because it causes data leaks too. That shit is bad for your computer. The only stable one I can think of, because I don't even know anything about the Xbox One version, would be the fucking PS4 version. And even then, that suffers from like extreme frame rate problems.
That's got extreme performance issues.
For a game, that looks like total utter garbage.
Yep.
Pizza explosions. Their lips don't even move. Why do the models look worse than Sonic Heroes? A goddamn GameCube game.
Oh.
It's insane. Like people they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And it only took like a week for the game to go into bargain bins. Already! In a bargain bin!
Nice.
That's... Holy shit, that's wow. Like, what is going on with this year?
I really don't know.
I just don't know. I don't understand the kind of communication shit we're in. And, like, I think the big killing blow at this point is the kind of, like, site, that, like, the kind of looks that now Kickstarter's getting because of this.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it's not necessarily the website's fault, it's more so just, like, the whole timing and such of, like, when Mighty Number Number is coming out and the hype. It also leads to the fact of, well, if I got hyped for this game and it didn't come out, why should I support other games on Kickstarter?
Yeah, it puts Kickstarter stuff in a
Because I
really
thought I
bad
could trust
light.
Keiji with a new game, but clearly that's not the case
So who do I trust? Just a shitty situation for everyone else,
for everyone.
especially with how big this one was.
Especially sucks considering there are games that look genuinely great at the moment with Kickstarter, and that's why stuff like Kickstarters with particularly demos are getting a good rep. Because that way they can experience the kind of thing they want to make at that point. They don't have to like go off just simple concept art and such.
Yeah.
And even then, there
For
are games that do
instance,
promise demos.
Yeah. For instance, a very small game, but like was not even like that far off from being finished with development. They just needed like a bit of extra money, but they already had, like a demo of just the first world was a little game called Spark the Electric Jester.
I
It's
forgot
kind
about
of
that one. You're right.
which was made by like the Sonic before and after the sequel people, and that was a really good first impression, and it met its goal. So like that shit works.
Mm-hmm. And then there's like a game like, say, the new System Shock remake, which has a demo. People said that was great. They supported that. Cool. That works. Then there's like the shady kind of Kickstarters that you're not really exactly sure on how they're even going to turn out.
Hi, Tim Schafer.
Tim Schafer and Shinmu are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah.
Tim Schafer because he's a piece of shit. Quite clearly. At least, like, that's also a dev that got like affected by Kickstarter through a game called
Yep.
Broken Age.
Broken is right.
Which is a game that like I actually just outright forgot about for the longest time till like our one attempt at a recording.
Yep.
Because it turned out in
Think
such
I
a
think I
broken,
remem-
awful mess.
I think I was the one who reminded you of that in the first place, actually.
Yeah, because like it's so forgettable.
It's so like just there.
Like it ends up getting to the point where like only the first episode got released for a while. Was that the case?
Yeah, no, it was split up into 2 episodes. The first episode came out, wasn't great, but it came out. Second episode, 2 years later.
2 years. 2 years. Is there any point of it being an episodic game?
Well, you see, there were 2 very distinct areas, like I think it was like a more suburban town kind of thing, and then like a spaceship, and you've got 2 protagonists, so one lady and one guy, and in the second episode they kind of switch places. I think that's the reason it's 2 episodes.
Well, regardless, at that point everyone saw Tim Schafer's kind of a con man with like the way he handled that. So now, all of his Kickstarters after that look completely shady. Such as, the revitalization of Psychonauts.
Yeah, that wasn't a great move.
Which also used like a completely different website for its backing.
Yep. One where Shaver was really able to just push back the date he needed.
So that way he didn't have to worry about the limit date on a site such as Kickstarter.
Yeah. Very shady.
Very shady. Very Tim Shady.
Oh.
Then there's Shenmue. Like, that was also announced at a very bad time.
I just love that. The guy just goes on, like, Sony stage and it's like, Shenmue free! Kickstarter!
Go support it now! And of course, I was freaking out because it's motherfucking Shenmue 3. Like, yeah, of course, but it's like, once the Kickstarter goes up, it's wait a minute, hold up. So why is this a Kickstarter? Is it if it's to gauge interest, cool and all, but like something about it just feels very off. And I only feel that way because of motherfucking Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I don't even necessarily feel like the gauging interest thing is necessarily wrong, because Shenmue is popular, but it's also kind of cult
sells
popular.
Like poop.
Yeah, it's very much like a cult kind of popular.
Yeah.
So I see the whole gauging interest thing. It's just after
Mighty Number 9, it's so hard to trust people.
And that's just the linchpin of everything here. It's harder to trust. It's like you might be saying like, oh, it's just one or two bad things, but that like one or two bad experiences, especially if they were popular
to the point where like these one or two bad experiences are such a kick in the dick that it's unforgettable. You know that feeling. Sometimes when you're just having a nice dinner, suddenly you recall it. It's like a PTSD kind of deal.
And it's also just in kind of the way where it's like, well, I've been burned by famous people with a lot of acclaim. Like, why can't it happen now?
Yeah. Get those bad thoughts in your mind. They start clouding you, and it's like, oh, you caught me.
Yeah, it's
just bad. Just bad.
It's just really bad.
The whole industry at the moment is just bad. So yeah, that basically sums up the podcast, I think. It's harder to trust devs at the moment.
Yeah.
It's getting really hard.
Yeah, a lot of shady stuff's been happening lately, as sad as it is.
But yeah, that's all I've got to say. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's all about the general topics. Well, one small thing.
Before
we go to
hold
questions.
Up, everybody.
So, remember when Deep Silver told us they'd make us cry like anime fans on prom night?
Oh, we're gonna talk about that? Okay, real quick. All right.
Well, certainly did that with Europe in a pretty positive sense, surprisingly.
Oh my god. Fucking SMT in Europe around like the same time as America? Say it
We're
ain't
getting
so.
Fucking Apocalypse like 3 months after you guys. We're getting fucking Persona 5 the same day?
Like,
what?
Holy shit. I cannot believe Deep Silver of all publishing companies is here to rock the fucking joke.
Out of everyone to end the Europe joke.
Deep Silver.
Deep Silver.
It's pretty amazing. And I remember, like, when we first, like, heard about Deep Silver doing the whole publishing thing, we were like, excuse me? Who? What? Huh? Really? Is this in a joke article?
Well, this can't be good. Oh.
Oh, it is! It is good!
Can we keep him, actually?
They did better. They've done better than Ghostlight.
They've done better than both They fucking outperformed, like, Ghostlight and even NIS in, like, one swoop.
In one swoop. Like, bam, bam. Check. I'm out. Drops Mike.
Even like 7th Dragon Code VFD, a game Sega was like, it's probably not gonna come out in Europe. Bam! It's coming out in winter.
Oh yeah, that got announced along with Apocalypse, right?
Yeah, so at the same time.
Look at that.
It's just fucking...
It just makes me wonder, it's like, what's so hard about doing this?
If fucking Deep Silver could just do that.
And Deep Silver can come in right the fuck out of nowhere and just go, hey, here you go. Then, what are you doing, Sega?
What's been taking this long?
Like, is there a process I'm just missing here?
And if so, how is Deep Silver, like, circumventing this then? I'm actually really curious on how this is all working out.
Deep Silver, of all people, again, the most random of publishers you could have possibly gotten.
And then they're just like, hey... We're fucking awesome, apparently!
Cool.
Because, like, when they announced, like, P5 the same day as the US, they're like, holy shit, how did you do that? And the fucking response they gave is, well, why wait, right?
Wink
and
face.
It's just like, well... Glad one of you got onto that.
Glad one of you understands. Like, really though, why wait?
I don't know.
I feel like there's more I'm missing. Please, if there's something we're missing, tell us. I would love to know, actually. Because I'm just baffled. This whole podcast, I'm just baffled. God damn.
Just god fucking damn.
Yeah, okay, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all she wrote.
Well, you want to do questions or?
How many do we have?
We've got one long question.
One long one? Why not? Just for you all. We're past the 2-hour mark. It's okay.
Fucking Christ. How was this? We were saying, oh, maybe this will be shorter.
Hey, maybe
well,
we won't make it 3 hours. Nope, sorry. We like talking, and if you don't like listening to it, that's fine.
I'll put timestamps in so you guys can like skip ahead to the stuff you want.
Yeah.
Although it's really late to
You'll
say that
probably
now.
already know it by the time they get to the description.
Yep. Yeah, this is the game I didn't want to talk about first, but here we are.
Oh, gee, what game is it?
I'll just read out the question. A TMS question for both Ian and KM. It was gonna happen. Don't deny it, you nerds.
I need to open the door quickly. Shit, it's
No.
locked. Help, 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 help.
It's too late.
Oh.
Oh fuck.
I'll go first. I'll get it over with.
Okay. Ian, do you feel like TMS would have been more appealing to you if it had stayed SMT cross Fire Emblem, and do you think the change hurt the game's overall sales?
Yes. Absolutely, 100% yes. I feel the sudden change to an even nicher kind of product for TMS was a very strange and odd move. I understand the whole like dream project kind of deal, and I can't talk on the way it turned out because I simply have not played it. But I can tell you one thing: it immediately lost any form of interest I had in the game because of the approach it went. Because simply put, it's an idle RPG, and that's just not my thing. It has elements of SMT, but not to the point where it's like, oh yeah, this looks super cool, I'm so dope down for it. It's like, nah, I'll pass. Especially since, like, to begin with, the only thing I really would have been interested in when it came to SMT and Fire Emblem crossover would have been the SMT elements, because simply put, despite my attempt at trying to get into Fire Emblem, I simply cannot. It did get me interested to try it one more time when it got announced, and I eventually did get to Awakening, but simply put, I couldn't finish it. I got bored.
That's fair.
And here with TMS, I'm at a point where I'm like, well, there's nothing for me here. None of the characters look particularly appealing to my kind of taste. There aren't any, like, elements of SMT that would, I think, keep me around to get me past all of, like, the kind of idle Fire Emblem-y shit. It's just simply not my kind of game. I understand the battle system and such is there, but I don't think that's enough for me.
That's fair, yeah.
It's fine if anyone else can get into it. All 5 of you. Because the game didn't obviously sell well. Sorry to say.
Met expectations for how low they were.
Better in America, though, which is the funny part.
Yeah, it pretty much went to expectations, which not exactly sure how high they were, but it wasn't a failure at least
wasn't
over here.
Outright failure, like we were thinking.
Which, props, I guess.
Yeah, the 5 comments a bit rude, I understand. It's just, you know, the kind of like...
Yeah, no, it's
the way I kind of view TMS at this point. And especially when people go, TMS is the greatest RPG on the Wii U. It's like, congrats! What competition does it have?
You beat out Xenoblade X. You did it, buddy.
Another game that nobody bought.
Well, it's a game that people bought, then traded in because it wasn't very good, apparently.
Oh, well, excuse me then. Whoopsie daisy. But yeah, it's just interest that, like, causes conflict with TMS in the end. Yeah. Especially since there's fucking, like, dialogue like, Tiki is my waifu. And that's, like, an immediate no purchase. no purchase. But yeah, you go ahead and answer your question. I think I made my point clear.
Okay, KM, do you feel the game changed for the better by being a thematic crossover that just uses elements of both games in its turn-based system, rather than a full-blown strategy RPG crossover? The thing is, we
Can I
don't know how
answer
that would
along
have...
with that?
Because we don't really know how that would have been.
Yeah, we can't say for sure, because simply put,
I-
when the game was originally announced, it was just kind of an idea more than anything.
Yeah.
We don't know how the
Like,
game would have looked.
it was pretty fair to assume it would have been a strategy RPG, I'd argue. You see, whenever I think of, like, especially now when I think of how would a full-blown SMT and Fire Emblem crossover play, there are two things I think of.
Mm-hmm. I think of both.
I think of Devil Survivor, but there wouldn't really be much Fire Emblem in that. And then the other thing I think of is, for some reason, the one thing I think of is Project Cross Zone.
Yes. You got it both. You got both.
That's the one thing I think of, like, how this would have turned out. Like, just a really schlocky kind of, like, shallow strategy thing that pretty much just satisfies on a base level. Like, it could have not turned out like that, but that's how
It's how you can assume with games that have been released.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We can only assume.
Yeah.
And we can only think that TMS turned out for the better because we have something to look at now.
Yeah.
And for what it is, what people have told me, who are interested in stuff like idols and such, it's good.
Yeah, I finished it pretty recently. I've really enjoyed my time with it. Like, the story and characters are obviously not the deepest, but they're still enjoyable, and the gameplay itself is pretty fantastic. In fact, a lot of people, myself included, would say it's at least better than Persona in terms of gameplay. Which, like, that's good and all, but you see, I kind of refrain from talking about this thing a lot because a lot of people I'm friends with and follow are just like, they don't care. They don't want to see much of it because they think it looks really stupid and stuff. And, like, I really liked my time with it, but to say it's changed for the better, well, it's like...
It's a very bold claim to make.
It's a very bold claim to make. So I can't answer that, I'm sorry. It's just, all I can judge is the final product, which, as much as some people hate to hear this, I enjoyed it a lot.
I mean, I don't hate to hear that. I mean, I'm like, whatever. Cool. Glad you had fun.
Just, I don't know, some people seem so inherently against the idea of the game being good, but whatever.
I'm way over it at this point. I'm just like, alright, moving on. Simple as that, really.
So, enjoyed TMS a lot. Can't say what would have been better in the end, but really in this situation, you can only really look at what has been released in the end, at the end of it, and that this is it.
This is it?
For better and probably for worse. That is my say on it. I'm not saying more.
All right. Well, thank you, whoever
Put my hands
that.
up. Yeah, thanks, Anonymous.
Oh, I love Anonymous. It's my favorite.
Good shit. Good shit.
Good shit. All right. I think we're done here.
Yeah.
For real this time. For real this time. Over 2 hours recorded. It's been a while since we recorded, but I think we got a good one.
Yeah. We had a lot to talk about, particularly because we hadn't recorded in a while.
Yeah. So we had a lot to say. So if you like to listen, I'm glad. It's always nice to see that people actually like to hear us, as opposed to, these fucking nerds. Kill them all, kill them all. That would require people to
kill us on that night.
That would require people actually listening to us. Well, 3 of you.
Hey.
Thanks, all 3 of you. But anyways,
thanks.
Hope
I appreciate
to see you soon next time.
Hopefully we can get the next one out a bit sooner than this.
Probably. Just hope for something actually topical. Don't worry, though. We can guarantee you a year into the podcast to wrap it all up.
Yeah.
And that'll be good fun.
Yeah. Well, We'll try to have at least 1 or 2 more podcasts before then.
Yeah, I think we could get in like 2 maybe.
Probably if we do these a bit more frequently than we have been.
Yeah. But anyways, goodbye.
Goodbye.